Hey guys, good evening. I'm doing something a little different tonight. Tonight, I actually want to read you a little excerpt from a book that I've been reading, and kind of talk about that. See what you guys think about that. The book is called "Finishing Well" by Bob Buford, and it's a book, a faith-based book, but it's got some great information. Got some great business leaders in here. A lot of in here by Jim Collins, Peter Drucker, who's the father of modern management. Some Rick Warren in there, Roger Staubach, who was a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback. So basically, the book is about, after you reach your half point in life, what are you going to do with the rest of your life, and how do you transition to that, and what does that look like? But the part in here I wanted to read to you was about actually Southwest Airlines and what makes Southwest Airlines so successful. So I'll go ahead, read the two sections, then I'll kind of go and talk about it a bit, and get your feedback. So it's the part I'm going to read is on page 106, in case you want to go find it, look it up yourself. It says, one night in the cavernous entry gallery of the Dallas Museum of Art at a black-tie dinner, I found myself seated across from one of the original founders of Southwest Airlines. As always, I took it as a learning opportunity. At the time, the major carriers were losing money hand over fist, while Southwest was happily extending its string of quarterly profits. So I asked my dinner companion, how do you stay in the black when everyone else is swimming in red ink? He answers, and this is the important part, it's because of what we don't do, he answered. We don't do food. We don't do assigned seats. We don't do interline baggage. Our motto is low fares, and that's what we do. All right, so that's the first section. I'll read the second section. The second section is, he says, I began this chapter with Southwest Airlines. It's worth noting that since the time of Orville and Wilbur Wright, cumulatively, the airline industry has never made a profit. Only one carrier has beaten the odds, running a money-making operation year after year. Their secret? Most of it is having the discipline of saying no. Southwest Airlines' market capitalization is greater than all the other major air carriers combined. They're the only airline to be profitable since 9/11. They stick to their knitting, and they know how to keep their eye on what really matters, putting the interests of their people and their customers first, and saying no to everything else. It all comes back to executing their two-word mission: low fares. So, that's a very powerful story, and obviously there's other things that Southwest does well. I think I know there's a couple of books out on just Southwest as an airline, and I actually really should go ahead and get those and read those. I know that Jim Collins in his books actually speaks very highly of Southwest Airlines and how what they did. They did very well, and I forget which one it is, but it's in there. It's a great passage again on their fanatical discipline and just how they really discipline themselves to have, a 20-minute turnaround at the gate. And, American Airline has a 60-minute. So, just those type of things are what make them profitable airlines. So I was actually on the phone with my mentor. That's where we're doing the book together, and we get on the phone once a month usually, discuss it and kind of discuss, life in general. And so I fixated on this part. We were chatting about it, and he said, the quote he said to me was, Southwest says, we are not in the airline business. So this is one of their keys, is we're not in the airline business. We are in the transportation business. So they're not trying to, and they don't try to compete against the other airlines. So if you notice, you cannot find their fares on things like, Travelocity or Kayak. You can only go to their site. He said, what we're competing against is other modes of transportation. We're competing against the car and bus. So if we can beat those, we don't even have the other airlines aren't even something we think about when we're trying to advertise and that sort of thing. So, obviously in their industry, so I think they have to have some sort of thoughts about them, but it's really interesting that that's kind of their thing, what they're thinking about, what they're trying to, their core values are. So I want to tie this back to, what are you thinking in your business that you need to say no to? What crops do you need to stop growing? What markets do you need to stop doing? What customers do you need to say no to make sure that you're able to keep a sustainable, successful business going forward? So it comes back to our business too, and one of the things we were talking about is what in our business do we need to say no to? Right now we do a broad range of services for people. We really said no a couple times, but really haven't dialed ourselves in. So I was talking to him, and we'll be talking to my business partner, saying, what things do we need to say no to so that we can do what we say yes to much better? So If we're doing one area of our business constantly with customers, obviously we get a lot better at that. We add more value to our customers because of that, because we see that a lot more often than if we try to do so many different projects. So um, just want to leave that thought with you tonight. So go ahead and leave below, what things you're thinking, what things you may have to think you have to say no to, what things aren't penciling out for your business. And love to get that conversation going. So go ahead and leave a comment below. Share this with a friend that needs to say no to something. And you don't have to tell them what it is. You can just share it with them. And hope to see you all around here tomorrow night. All right. Have a good night.